Good afternoon. Good evening. I never claimed to be a mathematical protege, but I'm gonna struggle through just a little bit of math on this one. Got 870 tips by about 20 days, 21 days. It's 40 tips every day. In an 8-hour span, that's about 5 tips an hour for 8 hours. About 5 tips every 8 hours. Then you start to ask yourself, did they send one agent or officer or investigator on each lead? That's 40 investigators going 40 different ways. Did they send 2 officers on each of these leads? That means 80 officers every different way. So, I don't know what the average, let's say 20 bucks an hour. How long did it take an average tip to be substantiated to be false? I don't know. But if you were to look at it in terms of man hours, say it took a minimum of 2 to 4 hours, and we'll just say 4 hours because we want to think that everyone's being thorough. So for 40 tips to come in one day, that's 160 man hours. 160 man hours in one day. Now, when you get caught behind a cascading wave of bad tips 870 times in a row, they're still working bad tips from the first few days. You gotta know the average and the laws of probability. There's tips in there that can't be substantiated false and could never be substantiated truthfully. So, math has been the problem here, right? Math's been the problem when you started out with a type of budget that's on average for these sorts of cases. Boy, 870 times, 40 times a day, ran all the way through that. You know, I thought it was funny. I did find a psychic that had been calling in tips. And I'll close with this. It's a tidbit of comedic relief. She swears she knows where that little girl's body is at, but she doesn't know if she can live stream with earbuds on and the people hear them. Whoa. Yeah, I don't even know what to do with that one. But you see my point, I hope. If you don't, then don't know what to tell you. So yeah, it's David Dotson. I've been told he's been caught in mistruth and untruth. I don't know if that's true or not. To me, it doesn't matter because the police are doing their job. Hawkins County is being oversighted by, and not oversighted even necessarily, but just side-sided by other agencies that aren't going to allow a cover-up if it's just Hawkins County covering it up. So I did have another individual tell me that Candace failed her first polygraph and went back for a subsequent and passed that. I don't even know how that line of commenting was started, nor do I care. Because again, I'm only going to focus on the things that law enforcement can certify. And that's the business. the phenomenon and culture of the pandemic, and also the technology of YouTube and the true crime sector, has allowed anyone to jump in and start doing the devil's bidding. I don't know how many people are on here doing the right things. I see more bad than I see good. The good gets swallowed by all of the inconsistent, unsophisticated viciousness. You don't have to be very smart to be vicious. You just gotta be vicious. The smart people are the ones that feel the viciousness but can push it down in their stomach and make it live there. And know that by bashing the parents that remain, and if we're going to stay hopeful of a live return of this girl, that when this girl comes home, she's going to have to look at all this shit, and she's going to draw her own resentment and her own conclusion to the sort of things you put out about her parents. Now, let me tell you this: if she's crossed over and she's with the good Lord, all this bullshit y'all are doing, the good Lord can see that too, because he's standing right next to her watching it go on. So, I don't know, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? I heard that that MGL went back seat on this investigation. That wasn't on her own volition. This is kind of a trend too. You know, that person will push and push and push so nasty to where she will find herself in this small window where she can become a victim and say, "Oh, I've just been victimized so much because of what I think. I'm just gonna take the back seat." Well, get you some tissues, you crybaby ass bitch. Fuck you mean.